Hi, I'm Krista.
And I'm Sarah.
And we have this podcast called Have We Talked About? Where two friends at different points in their lives chat about everything in their lives.
From current events to pop culture, from self-care to self-indulgence, and everything in between.
Join us weekly to see what we talk about next. Hey girl, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good, and so happy that we're connecting again and super interested in our topic today.
Ooh, it's like a continuation of the baby series. Do you want to tell everyone what we're chatting about?
Sure. Super interested in this topic because I have literally no experience, but we're going to talk about the actual pregnancy, the 9/10 month journey of pregnancy and what that entails. And we have our own resident expert here with us today, which is Miss Sarah,
Expert. Oh my God.
who's been through it 2 times. So, I obviously have some basic questions about it to give listeners the view in, but I didn't set really specific questions, so I left it open to what you want to share. But I definitely want to hear about all of the stuff that they don't tell you about pregnancy that people learn about later or end up reading in a Cosmo article where it's my teeth fell out. You know what I mean? I want that kind of stuff as much as you're willing to share, obviously, because this is your private journey about pregnancy.
Right.
But please share if you feel comfortable.
For sure. Yeah. So as Krista said, this is, pregnancy, everything to do with pregnancy. We chatted about trying to conceive in the first part of this series. And now we're talking about pregnancy. And just to maybe just state to the listeners, this may be a triggering topic for people, depending on what people have gone through.
Good call.
And I will, share some of my experiences. But at the end of the day, everyone's experience with pregnancy is different. So if you have never been pregnant and you're hoping to get pregnant in the future, don't think that it's going to be the exact same as my experience. It may be very different. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Good
call out. Yeah, this can be a sensitive topic. So if it is, please don't continue listening, but listen to everything else that we have put out. Just not
exactly.
Just not this one. So
I love that you said, Krista, I love that you said 9 months or 10 months pregnancy because so obviously people know that there's you're pregnant for 40 weeks or 9 months. I consider 10 months because you go into the 10th month, which is super fun.
Right.
And you have, the 3 trimesters, first trimester, the second trimester, and the third trimester. So do you have any, burning questions you want to ask me, Krista?
Yes, I do. That's what I was hoping that we could get right into. So I'm glad that you're giving me leeway to do so. But just to call out what you're saying, it's 9 full months. So technically you are beginning of the 10th month when you are quote unquote supposed to give birth, knowing that some people do it a little later, some people do it earlier. But what I found interesting is that when you put that into days, it's actually 280 days of being pregnant.
That's a long time. Yeah.
A year is 365.
Right.
So when you put it in perspective like that, I can understand how women at the end are just take this baby out. Yes. I'm going to lose it.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't know if anyone remembers the episode on Friends when Rachel is get this baby out of me. Yes, I'm still pregnant. That's how you feel at the end. You're literally just get this thing out of me. Yeah, actual facts. Yeah.
I've just been having shoulder pain for the last 2 weeks and I can only lie flat on my back, and that is nothing like pregnancy. But the fact that I can't have restful sleep because I can't move is it's damaging me emotionally. So I couldn't even fathom being pregnant with a human and that can only lie on one side or flat because it's impossible or uncomfortable. But moving to the lighter side of things.
Yeah.
Tell me if you're comfortable about how did you feel when you found out you were pregnant? How many tests did you take? Did you just get a feeling inside being yep, this one caught?
This one caught.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think so I have been pregnant twice. I have 2 sons. It's a really emotional time, at least if you're actively trying to have a baby. You usually start taking tests before, you should start your period. So you're taking lots of tests to see if you see a faint second line or not. But once you do see that faint line, it's super exciting. It's very exciting. And you usually continue to, pee on the stick multiple days after just to see the line get darker and darker and darker. I think one of the hardest things, well, there's many hard things, especially the first trimester, but one of the many would be potentially how comfortable you are. You're not telling anybody because you hear that there's, greater chances of a miscarriage during your first trimester. So you have this huge life-changing secret, but you haven't told anyone. It's just you and your partner that know. And I think that's very hard to keep that huge secret. Like if you're going out, if you're going to a party, if you're going to a dinner and you can't drink alcohol or you can't eat something specific, people are going to maybe not question you, but maybe, think it might cross their mind. So I think keeping that secret is very hard. Some people keep the secret until they've reached like X amount of weeks or once they've reached their second trimester. Other people, tell whoever they want to tell. I told my friends and my parents early. And then I think I announced it to everybody right when I got to the second trimester. But my second pregnancy, I think I told a lot of people very early because you're just excited, right? You want people to know. You're very, very excited. So everyone does their own thing when it comes to that. Yeah. Because it is nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking to potentially have a miscarriage or something happen within the, first few weeks.
Sure. So were you, I don't know if this was actually just called out, but you were actively trying for the second one. Is that safe to say? Yeah.
Yes.
So was it more like you were just testing to see if it like took versus being like, I feel like I might be before your like missed period?
Well, you always think like, oh yeah, I for sure am, right? You don't know.
Yeah. I feel that.
Hope, right? You hope that something stuck and, something is moving towards something else, whatever. So you hope. But once you see that faint line, it's very exciting. I just want to call out 8 out of 10, no, 10 to 20% ended miscarriages in the first trimester. So it's not a high number, but still, there's still a concern that potentially you could miscarry. And it's not the woman's fault or anything. It's just, it just happens.
Right.
Just terrible.
Talking about that first trimester, so you're keeping it a secret, but you're hopefully super excited and like want to tell everybody. Of course, you want to, anytime you have good news, you want to tell everybody. It's like when you have a crush on a guy or a girl. And then you want to like say their name every time. It's like, oh yeah, so-and-so loves this. Oh, so-and-so loves that. And you're like, I can't, I'm pregnant. Oh, this is going to happen. I can't wait for baby clothes. Like there's that obvious, I'm assuming there's that kind of energy. But then at the same time, I think for some women, they're battling symptoms in their first trimester that they can't really call out to anybody yet if they're
100%
waiting for that safe amount of time to pass. So one, morning sickness apparently is not just in the morning. It can be all the time.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. Like they need to change that to all day sickness.
Yeah. Call it trimester sickness because it can also go throughout the whole pregnancy.
100%. Yep. Yeah. Morning sickness. Get rid of that word. All day sickness. It's pretty severe depending on, how your pregnancy is during the first trimester. I had a lot more morning sickness with my first pregnancy. Threw up like every day for about 4 months, multiple times a day. Really fun.
How did you manage that at work?
It's funny enough, I only threw up in the morning getting ready for work. And then I was fine. But I was like nauseous the whole day. But you haven't told anyone. So you're
you got to rally.
Exactly.
It's like being hungover on like the girls trip. It's like rally girl. You got to just push through.
Exactly. I think another one is like food aversions. So you may love a food pre-pregnancy, but once you get pregnant, you do not want to look, smell, taste
Right.
that food. And I remember, for like, I don't know, 2 months at the beginning, I couldn't put the dirty dishes from dinner. I couldn't clean up after dinner because the smell would make me gag.
Really?
Yes. How weird is that?
I mean, I guess in the scheme of things, it's not weird, but it's amazing how everybody's body individually reacts to the
Yeah.
adjustment of the hormones, where it's like, so you can eat the dinner, no
Yeah.
problem. But as soon as that plate is clear
Yeah,
and like
I
lifting
couldn't-
up that plate to take, you're like, nope,
No, the
no
smell.
bueno. Yeah.
Nope.
Good way of getting out of doing the dishes, though.
Oh, 100%. There's a tip for you.
Yeah.
Bloating is fun. You think, you're growing quickly, but you're not. You're just bloating. Like your pants
Oh.
might be a little more tighter than normal. It's just really fun bloating. And you're peeing a lot, which is also
That was my next
continues
question.
throughout
Is that
your pregnancy.
so? That starts as early as the first
Yeah.
trimester, where you're like, bladder's like, yep, we got to do this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the embryo is like microscopic,
Oh yeah. It's
but the bladder's like,
nothing.
no, I feel a pee in my bed. Like the princess. We definitely
Yeah.
need to like unload. Okay.
Yeah. And then, your boobs start hurting, which is weird. You're like, that's weird. But, things are starting on that end.
PMS
People have,
symptoms.
very exactly. People have cravings during the first trimester. And you're very, very tired.
Right.
Like the exhaustion level is nothing you have ever experienced and you don't understand.
I can't even. Yeah.
You have no words.
I mean-
no words.
Like you basically like, I wasn't sold at the nausea thing. Is there's one thing that can take me straight out that I can't function through? Well, there's lots of things, like a stomach ache for sure, a headache for sure. Like top three, like nausea. I cannot rally past nausea ever.
Yeah.
So I would just like give up. I would, I would wave the white flag and surrender, being like, no, I can't do this. So like I cannot continue on, or I
Yeah.
have to be heavily medicated.
Valid. And you know what, it's hard, if this is just like your first pregnancy, your first baby, you can take naps when you want, you can take it easy. But if this is your second pregnancy and you already have a toddler, or this is your third pregnancy and you got two other kids, like
Not
it
happening.
is very different. And
Yeah, because you fall asleep and you could be like me and fall asleep, and then you wake up and you don't know where the baby is.
No. Right. That's it. And of course, you need to educate yourself when it comes to like what you can eat now, what you can't eat, how much caffeine you should have, things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we're going down this path, because my next question was going to be like, what was your craving during your first trimester? And like, what are some of the things that you couldn't eat that you were surprised about not being able to eat being pregnant? I only know of like soft serve from like McDonald's. Like, definitely don't do that.
Right. You have to watch your caffeine levels. I think you can only have like 200 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is like maybe like one coffee and like
Who is measuring that? But yeah.
it's tough. You have to talk to your doctor obviously to see like what you can have, but you definitely have to think about it. Like pop has caffeine in it, right? So you have to be, certain chocolates have caffeine in it. If you're having a coffee, you just have to be aware of that. Deli meats, you can't eat deli meats. It could have some things in it. Obviously, you can't eat sushi. You can't eat some soft cheeses. You can eat some cheeses, but not others.
I hate all cheese equally. So
Oh my gosh. You're not living. What are the big ones? I think those are like the biggest ones. So you just got to be aware. And obviously there's like some really healthy things that you should be eating. Like eggs are like really good when you're pregnant. It's very good for the baby and blah, blah, blah. And like all avocados and fruits and vegetables and all those is just excellent for you to grow your baby.
awesome. Eggs are good no matter what. Eggs are
Valid.
like number one best. So what was your craving though? Anything weird?
No, like no, I would say my cravings of what when I'm not pregnant just like heightened. So like chocolatey food, like chocolatey stuff, maybe some ice cream, but nothing like Tide Pods or nothing like mustard with cucumber.
Cocaine.
Like nothing, right, like nothing crazy like that.
Interesting. I think my sister, when she was pregnant with her first, she had a craving for like cereal, and my sister doesn't even like milk.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like her body was telling her to like have like maybe more dairy or something.
Yeah, whatever
knows?
the calcium. Yeah, insane. I don't think her son really cares for cereal now, interestingly enough, but yeah.
And also in the first trimester, there are
Tell me.
ton of appointments you'll be going to.
Ooh, okay, that was going to
So-
be one of my questions. Like, talk me through like the whole process of like doctor's appointments.
Oh my gosh. I hope you have an employer or a job that is somewhat flexible because, of course, all these appointments, most of the appointments can only happen Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
Sure.
So between your doctor's appointments, your OB or midwife appointment, your blood tests, your glucose tests, your ultrasounds, there's just a ton of appointments you need to schedule.
And this is
And
all
attend.
while you're not telling people that you're pregnant.
Yeah,
well.
you have a lot in the first trimester. Yes, exactly.
I had no idea. I thought it was just like, confirm the pregnancy, come back like in a couple weeks, and we're just gonna like see how it goes until like the 3 months have passed, and it's like, yeah, okay, now we need to like do it regularly. We need to like do this, but it's like from the jump, you're like, no, okay, we see you today. We need to see you 2 days from now. Okay, 72 hours now. You need to do this. You need to stand on your head. You need to put this out by the moon, and then you need to come back and
Yeah.
with us. Yeah, it's like, ugh.
So then it's tough. So then it's like, what do you tell your employer? You just tell your employer you have an appointment, and then you have an appointment in 2 weeks, and then like it's tough.
Yeah. People probably pick up on this, I guess, like depending on your boss who's maybe married and has some kids themselves, like him or her, they're like, well, you might suspect, but you just like, obviously you don't say come out right and be like, are you pregnant? Because
Yeah.
that's not appropriate.
Yeah, no, valid.
But yeah,
The,
to have like a good relationship with your boss or that kind of
Yes.
flexibility is super important.
100%. I think the one thing that I hated because I had an OB.
Yeah.
So, as your pregnancy progresses, you see your OB more often, more frequently.
No,
one
your
thing I
OB
hated-
sees you more often.
Valid. The one thing I hated, but you have to do it every time you go, is you have to get on the scale and watch those numbers tick, tick, tick up, which is great because it's like, oh, great, your baby's growing, but you're also like, I've never seen that number before on the scale. Okay, awesome. Love it.
I just want to commend you for how brave you are. If it were me, I'd be like, you can weigh me, but don't say anything about it. Don't tell me what the number is. Don't ask me what my number was last time. Like, I would be like, just write it down. And then if you tell me, like, if I'm moving into like morbidly obese territory, obviously let me know, but I don't want to know what the number is.
Oh, no, you have to tell the people. So you have to look. Well, at least my second pregnancy, they would be like, okay, go and then come back and tell me what it is. So I would go and weigh myself and then go back and be like,
Laziness.
okay, I am his number. And they'd be like, what? I'd be like, I am his number.
Like, what is that?
Whispering it. Exactly.
272? Okay, and what were you last time?
Exactly.
200? Oh, okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Like, you're already feeling like crap, and then you have this like, ugh, and there's other people there. You're just like, literally kill me.
Okay, I'm definitely not getting sold on this next part of this journey that we're talking about. So this is like, ugh, I'm probably gonna have to adopt on that, but I cannot. So yeah, you talked about your OB, so I wanted to talk about like in this day and age with the access to information, mothers to be are making different decisions with how they bring their kids into the world, and midwives and doulas are becoming or are commonplace now versus not even maybe 20 years ago when it was still not taboo, but it was still not in a mainstream fashion. So one, did you entertain in your first pregnancy going that route in any way? And based on your first experience of your pregnancy and what that birthing journey was, did it make you change your mind or consider something differently? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think I was going between should I have an OB? Should I have a midwife? What should I do?
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to both, and, do what's best for you. The things that I did like about the midwife is, I think after you deliver, I think they come to your house, they check on you and the baby. You don't have to leave your house. But when you have an OB, you have to go, leave your house and go.
With a new fresh baby.
Right, exactly. But if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me, listeners, if you want an epidural or something, or you want something, or if you have to have a C-section, they need to get a doctor in order to do that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. So first with my son, I just wanted to be, safe, and I just wanted a doctor. Obviously they're all doctors, I know that, thank you, but I just wanted an OB just in case. It was my first pregnancy. I didn't know how the delivery was going to be. Just in case, I just wanted to be at the hospital, give me all the drugs, I don't even care. But I had an OB, and then I loved my OB so much that I wanted to go back to her again for my second pregnancy. Yeah.
So did you ever consider going without a epidural?
That's for next series, Krista. That's for labor and delivery.
Oh, okay. Apologies.
We can't get ahead of ourselves.
I know. Well, because I need to know. I need to constantly be aware of all of the information so I can feel good about my decision to not currently have a baby. So I just want to know all of things.
Why don't we talk about the second trimester, which is I think is the best trimester.
Let's combine the two, because otherwise we'll be on this podcast for 2 hours and 57 minutes. And I don't want to edit that much.
That's funny. Well, second trimester is, I think, the best trimester. Usually you've told people are feeling, hopefully you're feeling a bit better, maybe less nausea, less all-day sickness.
Are you showing at that point?
You might have this cute little
baby
bit bump. Oh, it's just so cute.
Bloated belly.
Exactly. Maybe you started to put on maternity clothes, but you're feeling really good. Your energy's back. I think this is the best. You may feel little movements and little kicks from the baby that you think is so
little
cute,
flutters.
which it is. So I think this second trimester is the best, and enjoy it if you can.
It's good. Unless you have morning sickness all throughout, then.
Yeah, and that's just garbage.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we come into the third trimester. Oh, which is, you're almost at that finish line. You're almost there. Right. But it is the longest and it is the worst, in my personal opinion.
Because you're close, but you're far.
Exactly. And you're getting bigger. You've already been pregnant for 2 other trimesters. You're getting tired. The baby is getting bigger, which means is heavier. Your boobs are heavier. The baby is stronger and is kicking and is moving.
Stronger.
And putting tons of pressure on your bladder. You're peeing. With the amount of liquids that you're intaking, you are peeing triple the amount more, which is insane.
Oh, okay. Do pregnant women ever consider wearing a diaper or a Depends type of thing during that time, just because of the amount of peeing? And in a corporate environment, going to the bathroom is just not possible all the time? Or do you have to risk a bladder infection to get through a meeting?
That's really funny that you say that, because I'm pretty sure Shay Mitchell, an actress.
Oh, yeah. Canadian actress.
Yeah, she was in Pretty Little Liars and other things. She has a company, Bezos, or BEIS, whatever, however you say it. I'm pretty sure in one of her videos, she was like, "Can I just wear a diaper at this point? I am tired of going to the bathroom."
I think she did wear a diaper.
Yeah, I think she did too. So,
if you
want to, do it. Because the amount of times you go to the bathroom, and especially in the night, oh my gosh, and sleeping, your sleeping positions change. Because once you get to a certain, I don't know what week it is in your pregnancy, you cannot sleep on your stomach. You cannot sleep on your back. The best position to sleep is on your left side, because if you sleep on your right side,
it'll paralyze you, apparently.
Yeah,
there's a nerve.
There's a nerve. There's an artery that you could sleep on, that you could potentially stop like put pressure on the umbilical cord, then the baby won't get anything, whatever. So the best side's your left side, but after a while your left side goes numb. Like just goes numb. So you have to go to your right side for a little bit, and it's just a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. A full on nightmare.
It's a good thing our podcast is not video yet, because I wouldn't know how to edit out my expressions.
On the ground. Yeah, seriously. And then some people, because sleeping is so uncomfortable and horrible, there's all these products you could buy too, like the body pillow, the sleeping thing, all the things just to make it a little more comfortable. But even that, by the time you get comfortable and you close your eyes, you're like, shit, I have to pee.
Oh my God. I consider getting a body pillow now, and I don't even have kids. I'm just like, that just sounds like a good all around investment, no matter whether you're pregnant or not. Yeah, for sure. Can I backtrack? I know I said let's talk about second and third trimester together, but
yeah,
I wanted to also talk about, like, I know that we're not talking about birth and the delivery process, but I want to talk, like, ask a preemptive question of what did you consider in terms of like those type of preparatory classes of like Lamaze or like Parenting 101. I mean, I don't know what's out there. I just, did you do any of those things?
It's really funny that you say that. No. The only thing I went to was like the little hospital 2-hour session.
What's that?
They just kind of told you how things could go depending on, if you were getting induced, if you were getting a scheduled C-section, if you're getting emergency C-section, if you're just having like a, natural delivery. They just told you the different options. They kind of walked you through everything. And it was mandatory to go to at that particular hospital. Pre-COVID it was. But no, we didn't attend any classes. We were just like, nah.
It's like, I was built for this. I'm just going to freestyle
we got this. We got it.
Hee hoo, or blowing out the candles when you're giving birth. The concentrated breath. Yeah.
Well, and not even that. They don't even tell you, like in the movie. Okay, again, that we're getting into delivery. We can't. Yeah. There's too much to talk about
for later. Yeah,
exactly.
Save all that good stuff for labor for that episode.
Another. Sorry, Krista. Just another little cute thing, because there's not many cute things, but another cute thing that I enjoyed was, especially during my second pregnancy, I knew when he had hiccups inside me, which is the funniest thing. Like, because it would feel like hiccups, because you would just like feel like the same little movement or little, I don't know, whatever, every so often. He's not moving, and he had hiccups, and I felt it probably like 6 times, and it was so cool. And like, it is really cool to have this baby inside of you, and you feel the movements. Like, the movements are the coolest thing. You feel the kicks. They are the coolest thing. Yes, they wake you up. Yes, they do at the most terrible times, but it is very cool to experience.
I've heard that the kick to the ribs is not pleasant.
Oh yeah, kick to the ribs, like the head to the bladder. Oh yeah, it's all great.
Yeah, that sounds joyous.
And should we mention like the waddle? You get to a point where you're starting the waddle because you're just so big. You're waddling. And the baby's head is trying to get in between your legs, so you're literally like, there's a head trying to get there, so I have to like basically, like you said, do the waddle, spread the legs, and do that walk, that sexy walk that everybody loves. But for the listeners and myself, it's like, what point do you find out the sex of the baby? And 2, did you do any old wives' tales to determine the sex of the baby? That's funny. So if you just want to know the sex of the baby, so in your ultrasound at around 20 weeks, you can find out the sex of your baby. Yes, there are other ways you can find out earlier if you pay. But you can do, when you go to your like 20-week-ish ultrasound, you can find out then if the baby is in a good position to find out. Usually some people do like gender reveals at that point, or the huge parties. I just found out in the room at that moment. I didn't want to wait. Just tell me. I kind of knew ahead of time. I have 2 boys. You could kind of tell.
in the ultrasound before they even said anything. Yes.
But in the first one?
Yep. You could see it. I was like, I'm not an ultrasound tech, but I think
I see a penis.
Yeah, exactly. And then your second question. Well, you should know this one, Krista.
I know, that's why I asked.
We may or may not have done one of the old wives' tales at work.
Yep, sure
Krista
did.
Got my wedding
band. Yep.
She put it on like a string or something, and you held over my belly, and we saw which way it moved.
Yep. So you lay down in my office, put your wedding band on a string, close the door, obviously, for privacy. And put it over your belly. And if it moves back and forth, it's a boy. And if it moves in a circle, it's a girl. And yours moved back and forth.
Yeah.
That was with your first.
Yes. And that was accurate.
Yep, because it always is.
Yep. I tried to do other ones. I tried to do that one again for my second. But
I didn't conduct it. It has to be the same person who does the first one, who does the second. Yeah. It's like it's unwritten rule. Yeah.
Oh, got it. And then there's like, how is your belly? Like, I think it's like higher up. If your belly's like more high up, is it a girl? And if it's lower, if it's a boy or something, or it's reversed.
It's the opposite. Yeah.
And then it's like, if you're craving sweets, then you're having this. If you're craving more, I don't know, other things, you're having this. I don't know. I think that's bullshit. There was another one to do with your urine. I don't remember. I think I did a few of them for my second pregnancy, but I just waited. I was like, whatever. I'll just wait for my 20-week ultrasound. Just tell me what it is. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, healthy baby.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how did your hubby support you during the pregnancy? Because he's obviously not carrying the baby, but he's also going through the changes. But, at the same time, I don't know, like it's something he's experiencing, but he's experiencing by proxy.
Yeah.
So it's exciting for him too, but at the same time, it is a support role in a way when you're pregnant.
Yeah,
so
100%.
How did hubby show up? I mean, I assume it didn't change between pregnancies, but I want to hear all the details on hubby in this moment. I mean, I know he's a good dad.
Yeah. My first pregnancy, I really could only eat soup and bread for like a few months. So he would go get me certain soup. Like I was really into miso soup for like a while. So he would go to like our like
good
closest
choice.
like Japanese like restaurant and just be like, "Can I have a miso soup?" They're like, "That's it." Yep, just a miso soup.
Like, oh no, nothing else? Wonton? Nothing? Nope. Just the bean curd and the salt water, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So that, and he would, he encouraged me to get like one of those like pregnancy body pillows. I was like, I don't need it. He's like, yes, you do. I was like, I don't need it. And he like found one and he encouraged me because they're not cheap. They're expensive.
Oh, are they? I had no idea.
Yeah, and I'm a cheapskate. So he was
So
like,
are they like $100?
I like around there. Yeah. And then he encouraged me again. I'm a cheapskate. He encouraged me to like get whatever clothes you need. Like I want you to feel comfortable because in my mind, like I'm only going to be wearing these clothes for X amount of months, and then I'm never going to wear these clothes again.
Facts.
So it's like
a bridesmaid dress.
Right. Like I don't need too many. But he was like, no, just like get whatever you need. Go feel comfortable. Like da da da. And I was like, nah. He's like, do it. And I was like, ugh. I'm just the biggest cheapskate around. So that was nice, and just being there while I complained daily and cursed him daily for doing this to me, probably, and just being my soundboard, I think, as well. Because I complained constantly.
So
don't get me wrong, I am grateful that I was able to get pregnant. I obviously am so happy, but when you're in it for so long, #blessed, it's tough after a while.
So how do you manage, I guess, or are there emotional fluctuations in the pregnancy? Like first trimester, you're basically like your body doesn't know what's going on. It's trying to like figure and level set like this new situation that's happening. Second trimester, you're like, yeah, I could run a marathon. I feel great. I could write a book. Like I'm just like, I'm superhuman.
Yeah.
But hormones are still going all over the place. So did you still feel like those moments of like highs and lows after like the initial? Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't feel like myself. I feel like my body has been rented out. It's not my body. It's just not me. Because you look in the mirror and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
that's not me. Nope.
It's like you've a squatter.
Yeah, exactly. I still don't feel like myself. I've had my baby. My body still doesn't feel like me. It's going to take a few months. But yeah, I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel like I'm in my body.
Yeah, I think a lot of women echo that sentiment where it's not quite an out of body experience, but it's like, I don't recognize who I am or how my body is like working right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. It sounds great.
And that's why some women, and they don't talk about it, some women have like, you know, people always talk about postpartum depression or anxiety, but some women have like, I don't know what it's called, yeah,
there's a depression that happens like during
pregnancy that women experience, because it is challenging, and it's kind of a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're battling your body every day, but you're not battling it. You're trying to like accept it, but it's not who you reflect to yourself in the mirror. So it's like,
exactly.
And they're like, well, just be happy. It's like, I am happy, but I want to, this isn't me. Like, it'd be like waking up with a different face. And it's just like, who is this person?
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of everything that you're experiencing and feeling and creating, you know, you have to get everything ready for the baby too. Whether that's, you know, you have to get the nursery ready, you have to get everything you need for your house, your car, everything you need to buy and get ahead of time is also a little stressful, because there are a ton of baby products out there. And you're like, what do I actually need?
Okay, this is a good question. This is a lead up to a good question. So what was something that you bought that you saw the use for, but didn't realize the utility it really had until you started using it? And what is something that you thought that, yeah, this would be very helpful, and you're like, this was a waste of my money?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. I don't even know. And I think it depends for my first and second kid. First kid, we used his change table, an expensive change table, like little, it wasn't a change pad. It was like this, like, I don't know, really fancy one we got at my baby shower. Now I just change the baby's diaper wherever we are. On the ground, downstairs, cool. In my bedroom, awesome.
At the park?
Great.
At the Leafs game? Come on.
Like, that's just, yeah. I think I didn't realize ahead of time when I was pregnant, but having a really good mattress for your baby is very important. Once I had my baby, I learned more about SIDS, and that scared the shit out of me. But we did have a good mattress, thankfully. What else? I had no idea what swaddles and sleep sacks were until like maybe a month or two. Yeah, until like a month or two before having my first child. But like those are amazing, and I didn't know what those were. My parents were like, "What is that?"
Exactly, because you're like, "Why are we strapping the baby down?"
Yeah, 100%. And like,
why are we putting the baby in a bag?
Exactly. And even everything around car seats, like car seats is like a huge thing, and it has to be perfect. Like,
especially in Canada, like the rules for car seats are different
standards
in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's it. Oh, one thing I didn't know I needed was a sound machine. I was like, do I really need a sound machine?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
My first son still uses his sound machine every single night.
Interesting. So how do you feel about diaper genies? Because it's a mixed review. Did you have a diaper genie? And if so, is it worth it to you, or is like the garbage is also fine?
Again, first kid, you know, every time I changed his diaper, I brought him upstairs to his nursery. I put him on his expensive changing pad thing, table thing. Yeah. And I put his diaper in the diaper genie every single time. Now I'm like, again, if I'm upstairs, great, I'll put in the diaper genie. If I'm downstairs, put in the garbage. Yeah. Like, it just depends, right?
the diaper genie just seems to be like a lot of plastic for what it is. So it's like, here, look, when you're done, you get to pull out this sausage roll of soiled diapers that you can put in the garbage. I'm like, can we just have a regular garbage with like a sealed lid?
Yeah.
Like, why does it
Yeah, I
need to be
know.
like that?
I know, but then it does hold in the smell, and like there's like different. Yeah, I know. But I used
But
it.
like, those are special
my first time.
bags and everything.
Oh yeah, you have to buy the special bags that cost a good chunk of money and everything. Yep, for sure. And we did. We'll see we'll see if we continue using it now, but we did the first time around. Absolutely.
So I don't know if I saved my best question for last, but it's like probably my juiciest is like some body changes that are like huge during pregnancy. And I don't know if they happen in the beginning or the middle or the end, where it's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now, body. Okay. And we're going to stay that way. Okay. Is there anything you want to share so that I can really be solidified in my decision not to procreate?
Totally. Well, obviously your stomach changes the most. Your stomach just continues to grow, and you're like, oh, this it's not going to get bigger than this. Oh, yes, it will.
And your belly button, did it pop out?
No,
Oh,
mine
good,
didn't.
Lucky.
Both times it didn't, which I found was really like strange because I thought everyone's did, and I thought everyone also had that line in the middle of their belly too.
Yeah, when I forget what it's called, but it's when the abs separate.
Yeah, I didn't get the line either.
I think it's called like black line in like Spanish. It's like linea negra or something like that, right?
Yeah. That's exactly. Yeah. I didn't get that. Some people experience stretch marks. I was great up until like the last week of both of my fucking pregnancies. That the stretch marks were just angry and aggressive. So that's always fun. Your boobs get a whole lot bigger, and there could be some stretch marks like underneath your boobs because they grow and they're getting ginormous. Your feet size could change depending. I know some people have increased their size.
For sure.
I've also heard of people's noses getting bigger during pregnancy. I don't know if
They
that's
do.
accurate.
They do. Because you can't
And-
breathe anymore, and all of like the double blood flow, it causes like your nasal cavity or whatever to swell. Like there's a pregnancy nose. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, just awesome. And then
I can't remember if you had one.
Oh god,
Yeah,
I
pregnancy
hope not.
nose.
Like probably, but hope not. And then swelling in your hands and feet as well, especially in later pregnancy, just because of all the weight, especially on your feet. I would say that's probably like the most of it, but then there's like lots of fun things that happen like after delivery.
Oh, okay. So let me ask like a very inappropriate question. That's like more like your nipples are different. When does that like take effect? Like your areolas get darker, your nipples all of a sudden are like giant. Like when does that start to like become a thing?
I would say in your pregnancy, you can see it changing and getting different throughout your pregnancy.
Like that alone is a mindfuck.
It's
Like you're
crazy.
you're morphing in real time.
Yeah, literally. Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild, truly. But, women are superheroes, and we've been doing it for thousands of years, and we will continue to do it.
Yeah.
But then you get to your due date. You get to your due date, and you're like, oh, sweet, I'm at my due date. The baby's going to come any second now. And sometimes they do, which is fantastic. Great. Before the due date. Sometimes they come on their due date, but actually only 5% of babies are born on their due date.
Not their fault. It's because there's no actual like good science that can predict the due date of the baby.
Yep. And 81% of babies are born past their due date. So
allegedly past their due date. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just feel like once you get, especially me, once I got to my due date and the baby wasn't here, I was like, get it out of me. You're just over it. You're like, no, I got to the day where you told me I had to get to. I've achieved that. Now what?
I've met my commitment here.
Exactly. Get it out.
Where's my prize? Yeah.
Exactly.
I've ran the race. Where's my medal?
Yeah. 100%.
Did you maintain I don't know a lot about your like activity levels and stuff. I know you used to be like a dancer for a big chunk of your life. Were you able to maintain activity in both pregnancies, whatever you were doing to kind of like keep your heart healthy?
Well, I think during my first baby, well, Krista, you were there for my walking exercises.
I sure was.
Krista and I, when we worked together, we used to go for daily lunch walks, and we would go for like a 45-minute walk. Like there were times, especially at the end, I was like, I need
You're like, you're walking too fast. And I'm like, oops.
I need to catch my breath. I need to sit down. Like, can't breathe right now.
I remember that.
So that, and I honestly feel like just commuting into work at that point was like exercise enough for me. Like, and then going for our like 45-hour walks at lunch. Yeah. I'm good. Like that took the wind out of me. And then for my second pregnancy, I think just keeping up with my toddler, that was enough exercise for me.
Yeah, and you take him out on weekends and stuff to like to the farm or zoo and stuff. Totally. So you're walking around.
Totally, yeah. Because walking when you're pregnant is different. Like your shortness of breath, like you literally cannot get enough oxygen down there. Like you have to literally stop and like breathe to like get the oxygen all down. Yeah. Wild.
Because the baby's pushing on everything, right? So it's like your breathing just becomes shallow just because it's like adapting. But in reality, it's like it's making you out of breath.
Yeah, exactly. Truly. So how about convinced you? Do you want a baby?
I mean, if somebody gave me a baby, I would keep it. If like I found a baby on the street, I would keep it. Like I enjoy baby videos and I'm very capable of keeping a baby alive. Like I can raise one, I can like teach it, I can do all of those things. But I've never, since I was a child that could understand the concept of pregnancy, ever wanted to physically carry one. And I'd always said to my sister and my mom, it's like when they can bake them in like an easy bake oven, then I'm into it. Otherwise, no thank you.
Got it. That makes
but
sense.
Now they're making like synthetic wombs.
Wow.
And now surrogates are like common.
Yeah.
So I have thought about that. Yeah. And it's like the laws around surrogacy, it's not technically legal in Canada. So that's a whole other red tape issue.
Got it. There's one thing that I didn't realize until I was in it. And then you have all your apps being like, oh, you reached 26 weeks pregnant. During this week, your baby is growing its fingernails or whatever, right? And I didn't realize, but nesting in both of my pregnancies was huge.
Real?
Yeah. Really
That's
real.
Like
I don't know
last
what
trimester time?
Yeah, or like second and maybe third trimester. Like I don't know what goes through your head or what's going in your hormones, but you're like, I need to organize my entire house. It is wild. It is a wild experience, wild journey. Like I think I organized every inch of my house my first pregnancy. My husband thought I was insane.
It's like, no, it's the estrogen and the progesterone, my friend. Yeah, like, I can't help it.
No, yeah, exactly. So that was one wild thing that I didn't really expect.
So it is like, there is something to be said about like females. I don't want to offend anybody, but like biological females having certain instincts towards something based on like the hormones and just like our nature as like procreating creatures of like organization.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're thinking at things at like these like systematic levels of like, how do I need to like make this in a way that is cohesive and neat and, easily accessible.
Yep.
And again, comes down to like having a baby.
Exactly. Maybe not everyone goes through it, but I definitely went through it in both my pregnancies. Like,
of course,
like it was good.
Yeah,
it was wild. But then again, I have a stat. A woman's peak reproductive years are between late teens and late 20s.
I know you're gonna throw that out there.
And then by age 30, fertility, starts to decline. And then I think you're
barren at 35.
I know. And they what's the word they call women when they get to
geriatric?
A certain age? Yeah, it's just like, get out of here. That is so mean.
I know. It's just the pressures of being a woman, where it's like, I'm only viable if I'm pretty, and then at a certain age I'm not pretty anymore, and I'm not of any use to civilization because I can't contribute. It's like,
Right.
this is why women have depression. Like, what?
And are stressed all the time because we know
Yeah.
we have this like internal like ticking clock.
Yeah. And we're having to be organized.
On top of everything. Gosh. And it's like create a human inside our body.
Yeah.
Insane.
And not getting enough sleep at night.
And peeing constantly.
So I think we've covered everything I think we need to. Is there anything else that you want to share about the pregnancy journey for you, Sarah, that I wasn't able to like touch on in my questions, and that, you know, our listeners would find interesting or insightful?
No, I just think it's a wild ride. I think everyone experiences pregnancy different. And I think different, like if you have multiple kids, you're going to have different pregnancies as well. And I just think it's a wild ride. And if you can't experience it, great. Good for you. Good luck. But at the end, you're going to have an
can do
awesome
it.
little human at the end, which is really fun and exciting. But it is, I don't think people talk about how challenging pregnancy is. They just think, oh, you're pregnant. Amazing. But in reality, it's very hard.
It's a huge adjustment.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, as always, we want our listeners to chime in with their thoughts, perspectives, and stories. Definitely rate us on whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on. We're on all the socials. Well, not all the socials. We're not on Snapchat. But we definitely want to hear from you over there as well. Have we talked about podcasts? Kind of some variations of that. That's how you can find us. Have a website soon, I guess, where we want to hear feedback there as well.
Ooh, exciting. And tell us kind of your story. Did you experience any symptoms that we didn't touch on? How was your pregnancy? Let us know. And I guess, as always, Krista, we'll chat next week.
That's right. I'll see you then.
Awesome. Bye. Thanks. Bye.